Hey, yeah, what's up? This is Disciple Marshall Current Spring back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-telepathy all day, anti-America all day, and everybody with them, yeah. So, this video basically is going to be about Mexicans having their own Chinatowns. Mexicans having their own Chinatowns. That's what this is going to be about. Okay? Basically, that's what they have. If you go into any major city, it's no hate. There's a punchline coming. Just wait for it. Just wait for it. Okay? They have, you know, the equivalent of a Chinatown in every major metropolis in America. Am I right or wrong? I done seen it myself. I mean, I can't unsee it. You know, I done been to San Francisco. I see a whole Mexican town like Chinatown. I done been to Los Angeles. You can see that. You can see that community there. In East LA. That's a Chinatown, basically. Everywhere you go. I mean, North Carolina, east side of Charlotte, everybody know. East side of Charlotte, they have whole Mexican neighborhoods. Mexican, you might as well say a Chinatown. When I say Chinatown, it's not only a neighborhood. I'm say that again. When I say a Chinatown, it's not only a neighborhood. It consists of grocery stores, banks, money order places, telephone places, mass stores for clothes, their own culture in far as the clothes go, implied in the stores, insinuated in the stores, basically their own culture, clothing stores, everything. That's a Chinatown. That's the equivalent of a Chinatown. And you have that in every major city, in every great metropolis, every greater city in America. There's always a Mexican side of town. These are the equivalent. You can't sleep on it. These are the equivalents of Chinatowns. As well, most great metropolises has a Chinatown. You go to any great city, there's a Chinatown. Some of y'all are so slow, y'all think Chinatown, y'all don't even know what that means. Chinatown is a Chinese town within a town in every great city. That's not just one city. It's not just New York. Y'all so slow. Y'all think Chinatown is in New York, down on Lafayette Street, down on Canal Street. You think that's just Chinatown? You think that's what Chinatown is in the whole country? Chinatown is like that down on Lafayette and Canal. I done been down there before. It's the same thing as far as Chinatown, as far as the Asian community in every great metropolis. You go to any great metropolis. You go to San Francisco. I've lived there. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. Living in California and San Francisco, there's a Chinatown just like Canal Street across the country over there on the West Coast. Okay? Like I said, just like I said for the Mexicans, it's no hate. You know what I'm saying? But who would I be to turn a blind eye to that? Who would I be to turn a blind eye to a flourishing community within America that happens before the African American gets one? That's the punchline. That's the punchline. African Americans don't have a Chinatown or a Mexican town. Now they quietly, slowly but surely they gave Mexicans a Chinatown. That's what it is. And here's the punchline. Here's another punchline. But they still ain't gave it to the African American community. Boom. So now you got two ethnicities that have their own towns within a town in every great metropolis in America. You got now Chinatown and a Mexican town. You might as well say. You might as well say they got their own banks, they got their own barbershops, clothing stores. That's a Chinatown. Meanwhile, black people ain't got nothing close to that. And it wasn't always like that for Mexicans. Say that again. It wasn't always like that for Mexicans. They didn't have a Chinatown. Slowly but surely, they worked, and they got their own Mexican towns, which is the equivalent of a Chinatown, here in every great city in America. And you, African Americans, you still in the ghetto. That's your Chinatown. That part. Hey, you probably laughing too. That's your Chinatown. Your Chinatown is the hood. Hey, it's the truth. And honestly, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. And what do you have in your Chinatown, in the hood? Shooting, killing, kids getting shot, gang banging, crack selling, prostitution, all everywhere. And you bragging about all of it. You bragging about how turned and lit it is. You bragging about it. You so stupid, you bragging about it. Meanwhile, you go to Mexican town or Chinatown, you don't see none of that. You don't see no gang banging, no serious gang banging in no Chinatown. They got young China youth, but you don't see no China gang banging. Come on now, let's keep it 100. Same thing with these Mexican neighborhoods, because the ones that doing the gang banging, check it out now. Those are just Mexican neighborhoods. That's not Mexican Chinatown. They still got that too. They got the Mexican. That's what you've been sleeping on. That's what black people been sleeping on. You think, oh, they just got it bad as you do. No, they don't. They got Mexican towns, Chinatowns, that are still thriving in every great city, and they also have bad Mexican neighborhoods. But what you think about is only the bad Mexican neighborhoods, but you don't think about the thriving Mexican Chinatowns that they have. Well, they got their own grocery stores, they got all of that, ain't no crime going on. And that's in every city with the Mexican bad neighborhoods. They're not the same. And that's how America got you, is thinking it's a black and brown situation. No, it's not. Mexican people can fly straight if they want to. Let me say that again. Mexican communities, Mexican people can fly straight if they want to. They have options. You don't. They can go to Mexico Town. They can do that, and you still in the hood getting shot at. Mistaken identity. They thought you was the same dude. Some other dude. Y'all got the same jacket, and they thought that was you. They thought you was him. Meanwhile, if the Mexican community want to get away from gang banging, all he got to go do is live with his auntie in Mexico Town. He can go live with his auntie and get away from the streets. You ain't got no aunties you can get away. Some of y'all do, but on the average, half you black people, y'all ain't got no aunties you can go across town to live with. Mexican people do. They got plenty of family. They got options. They choose to live that way. They choose to build. If they're a loser, most of the times, a lot of times it's by choice. With all the jobs they got jobs under the table, where they can work off the books. Come on, man, ain't nobody stupid. They choose. If they're losers over there, they choose to be. That's a fact, Jack. They could do anything. They could be a helper. They could do landscaping, as you know. That's and I'm not saying that in a stereotypical way. I mean, it's really a serious option, especially in the South. And so if they choose to be losers, it's by choice. That's real. You're kind of almost set up to be a loser. You ain't got no help. Your family ain't got no help. They ain't really got no pool in the workforce to get you to put you on the job, really. Shoot, Mexican people, man, one family, somebody could put you on. That's real. Somebody can put you on in your family. And if you can't find your family, you got hundreds of families around you and in your community. Somebody could put you on. That's real. So if you choose to be a loser, you choose to gangbang, you're choosing to be that way. And that's a fact. You have options, many options. Okay? So I say all that to say it's not the same struggle when you got a million options. You got a million options, bruh. You ain't got to choose that. You ain't got to choose that lifestyle. You can go, if you ain't got nobody in your family that can help you get a landscaping job or some type of job, helper job, some kind of job somewhere in your family or your immediate family, there's hundreds of families in your neighborhood that somebody gonna put you on. In the African American community in the ghetto, your family ain't got no job and nobody around you ain't got no job. The hood in America. The hood in America is the closest thing to the desert. Mexican town ain't no desert. Man, you got plentiful jobs and jobs under the table and everything. What you talking about? What are you really talking about, bruh? For real. Yeah, there ain't no desert. You got plentiful jobs flourishing everywhere. You got plentiful jobs flourishing everywhere. You could be a florist, literally. You could work at a flower store, literally, bruh. All kind of jobs. Moving plants, moving trees, all kind of different floral arrangements. Come on, man. Nah, that ain't the same. I'm letting you know it's not the same situation. It's not the same situation. Okay? When you got all multiple outcomes you can pick from, and you if you choose to be a loser, something's wrong with you. You're mentally off or something wrong with you. Look at the people in poverty. Look at the Mexicans that's walking around. Something's wrong with them. They ain't poor just, you can't just, no. Something's wrong with them. You know what I'm saying? They either need medication, they need to go somewhere and put themselves in a mental hospital or something like that. That's what they need to do. But there can be very good, strong-minded black people that's just in the desert. And I think y'all need to wake up and look at because look, here's the other punchline. The American government is giving those Mexican towns, if you will, those Mexican Chinatowns, they're giving them some type of money. Oh, believe it. Oh, for sure. For sure. How you got banks and you got literally a whole community. And I'm not talking about neighborhoods when I say that. You got your own restaurants, you got your own banks, you got your own cell phone stores. So the government gotta be giving them some type of money, some lump sum type of money, bruh. It's some type of program that they also gave China, the Chinatown. It's probably the same thing. They probably have some type of programs, some lump sum money programs that they're getting just like Chinatown gets in every city. While you sitting up here thinking they struggling like you and it's a black and brown situation in America. It's not no black and brown situation. It's just your black situation. Okay? Like I told you, every great metropolis you go to, look at the cities, look at the towns. Look when you drive through, instead of just looking at it and say, oh, this is a Mexican neighborhood, instead of just saying that part, look at the businesses they have. Look at the businesses. They're getting money for those businesses from the government, man. They're getting money for that. You think they just doing that on their own? You that naive, man. Come on, man. You need to wake up. And what you need to do is realize, man, you're hated, you're despised. They're not helping you as a black people. It's too many people that hated you for too long. And maybe black people hurt they white families or something. I don't know, hurt the money. It's whatever it is, they got something personally against you. That's how you gotta take it, man. Hey, it ain't no other way to take it when you see Chinatowns and Mexican Chinatowns. They helping everybody but you. They got a whole Mexican town. That wasn't always like that. In the 80s, 70s, you had a whole Mexican neighborhood with businesses. Bruh, stop playing. That was not in every city like that. Nah, hey, I don't believe that. Heck no. I don't believe that. That just became in the last 10, well, I'll say 20 years, 30 years, somewhere around in there. Somewhere around in there. Which is pretty new in America. Chinatowns go way, way, way back. And the African American community should have been next up for a Chinatown, if you will. This is what I'm showing you. And if you would have had a Chinatown, black people would have had a Chinatown, you would have had your own culture. You would have had different African countries with their culture, their clothing, their food, and everything. And you would have installed pride within the African American community. And then, therefore, people would have valued life more in the African American community, and the black on black crime would be on an all-time low, because now you have Africa Town. An African Chinatown. You don't have no African Chinatown. The Mexicans came in at some point and and was second to get one. You should have been second to get a Chinatown. It ain't no hate. I'm just saying, look around. Who's been here really first? It's not no hate. It's just real. That's real, bruh. And the Mexicans ain't gonna tell you that. They ain't gonna tell you, yeah, we have basically our own equivalent of a Chinatown. They not gonna tell you that. Because then you gonna start thinking, and what they got might be taken. That's how they look at it. Or they gotta share it with you. Now they're not getting the same cut for their businesses, because now an African town is here in America. Now they got it. Now the cut is sliced. You know what I'm saying? So the government can give the Africa town, someone with the Africa Chinatown, what they need for businesses. You see what I'm saying? So they kept their mouth closed. Culturally speaking, they kept their mouth closed. You got to pay attention. Now you sitting up here still wondering how black people gonna get out the hood. You still sitting up here singing them same blues songs you've been singing. When we gonna get out the hood? But you're not paying attention. You're not looking. You're not looking around. Mexicans was not here like they were, not like they are now, when your ancestors, when the slaves came over here. Let's say it like this. When slavery ended, there was not no full Mexican communities like it is now. Okay? African Americans should have been in line for a Chinatown really before Chinese people. Soon after slavery, you should have been getting your own communities with your own businesses separate from white people. We're not talking about that Wall Street stuff, that Black Wall Street, because that's what everybody like to bring up. I'm talking about everywhere. I'm talking about every great metropolis, bruh. I ain't talking about no one little city, man. I'm talking about African Americans should have had the equivalent of a Chinatown right after slavery, because they deserved it. They earned it, literally. And yet, you got Chinese people that came in and made a prosperous community with their businesses, and now you got Mexican people that came in and made prosperous communities right here in America. Prosperous businesses right here in America. You got two different communities that have come here, established themselves here, got their own communities separate from white people with businesses and everything. And you still in the ghetto. They keeping an eye on you, got police everywhere surrounding you. You don't see them really surrounding no Mexican town like that, do you? You don't see them surrounding Chinatown like that, do you? No, you do not. You don't see. You can say what you want to say, but the bottom line is, police is not in deep in Chinatown. They're not in deep in the Mexican Chinatown either. Police not deep out there, bruh. They only deep around you in the ghetto, and you ain't even got no money. They don't even know what these people doing in Chinatown or Mexican Chinatown. They don't know what all they doing, man. Man, you can't be naive, bruh. They all them little businesses and stuff. They don't know what they doing. That's real. But yet they around you, got police swarmed all around you, watching you every day. And all you do is hold a cookhouse. You got basically the equivalent of a lemonade stand. I'm keeping it 100. You basically got a lemonade stand, and they watching you. That part. You go to Mexico, Chinatown, they got whole floors, businesses and everything. And your ancestors was the ones that was slaves putting it in here. Because the first thing people want to say, everybody was slaves. Yeah, everybody, most ethnicities were slaves. However, here, African Americans take the cake. That's a fact. They take the cake. As far as being slaves, yes, they do. So it's not a hard thought to grasp that you have disgruntled people that feel that their ancestors worked enslaved and they should inherit some part of America. That's not a hard concept to grasp. That's real. When they work for free, that's what slavery is. Yeah, let's keep it 100. That's what I'm saying. It ain't got nothing to do with hating. Do you, get you. But I'm talking about what should be. I'm talking about what should exist here in America. That ain't jealousy, that ain't hate. I'm talking about what should exist. Let's keep it 100. That should exist. That's real. It ain't got nothing to do with jealousy. I've never been that type of dude. I've never been the type of dude to say, oh, Mexicans taking all the jobs. I promise you, I've never been that type of man. I've never been that type of man. Because that's hate. I mean, they doing stuff that you don't want to do. They paid their dues to do it. I'm not hating on that. What I'm saying is America has never tried to give African Americans their own Africa Chinatown. And I know that the Mexican Chinatown and Chinatown too has the help of the American government. You know, they're getting some loans, man. Come on, bruh. They're getting business loans, small business loans. They're getting, and I suspect that they have other different types of loans and other different types of lump sum money that they get in programs. So it's not saying, oh, okay. Oh, well, you can't say, oh, well, black people just need to get off their butt and they'll make their own situation. No. Y'all got small loans. Y'all got small business loans. Y'all got all type of loans that's making these Chinatowns and these Mexican Chinatowns possible. Come on, man. I'm not stupid, bruh. Come on. Y'all got too many people that's off the books, first of all, to even be flourishing anything. Let's keep it 100. You got too many illegals to be actually flourishing a Mexican Chinatown. So you got to be getting loans. Come on, bro. That's how you got up there. That's how it happened. You use loans, and now this is in every city, which means this is basically American uniform. Meaning this is practiced in every city, regardless. It's practiced in every city. So it ain't even about hustle. It's not even about Mexican hustle. How is it about Mexican hustle when you got it in every city? That's uniform, bruh. That's a grid situation. And America is getting their money off that. That's a fact too. So it's a win-win situation. Both parties win. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't getting none of those situations if you from the hood. If you black people, you ain't getting none of those situations where you can set up a strip of businesses of black people, just like them, just like Chinese people. You setting up a strip, with businesses. You can't do that. You're not doing that. That's what I'm trying to show you. It's being done from two different communities. Two different ethnicities are doing that now. Not tomorrow. Not when we get more futuristic. It's happening now. That's what I'm saying. So, you've been forgotten. That's how you got to look at it. You've been basically forgotten, man. And you should, hey, I can't blame people who move like they've been forgotten, because that's what it is. You living like in a desert compared to the rest of the situation. When you got the African American community, you got the Mexican community, you got the Chinese community, having what your community should have. You should have been first in line. Okay, so I can feel you if you feel like you're lost and forgotten and you're living in the desert. That's what it's like. Ain't no hate in that, like I said. Ain't no hate in that. It's the reality that the African American community should have been first in line, first considered by the government that's enslaved them. Yeah, they should have been giving you strips of buildings when they know they're killing your family, when they done killed your family and been whipping your family. They should have just thought to give you strips of buildings, strips of businesses down boulevards and avenues all across America. You should have had strips of businesses all down all these boulevards and avenues all across America. You need to wake up, man. They are not considering giving you that. They've never have and they never will.